The things I wish I knew before I bought my first Speedmaster Professional. I'll take you through my top 5 in this video. How to buy your first Speedmaster, which Speedmaster to buy, all very difficult questions if you are looking to buy your first Speedmaster Professional. Now, which one to buy, if any, is an especially relevant question today, of course, since the recent update to the Speedmaster lineup by Omega. Before we continue, the one we are holding here is indeed the outgoing model. It's still available today, but it is indeed the outgoing model. The points discussed, however, are most certainly relevant for the next model as well, and the one after that as well, and so on and so forth. So this is, in a way, timeless advice. The first question is the easiest one to ask, but perhaps not the easiest one to answer, and that is, which Speedmaster should you get? With any other watch, that is pretty much an easy question, with, one or two watches to choose from. With the Speedmaster line, that is very, very different. Now, if you look, for example, at the Speedmasters available in the catalog, in the official catalog today, you are looking at a wide range and a wide variety of them. So you have 12 Moonwatch Professionals, then you have Caliber 321 in a few variations, you have the Anniversary Series in 9 variations, then you have the Speedmaster 57 in 19 variations, you have the Mark II, 4 models of those, then you have the dark Side of the Moon, currently in 15 different executions, and for sure they will add different sides of the moon in the future. Then you have the Speedmaster in 38mm, there are 20 choices there. Then you have the racing model, 10 models of those. You have the moon phase in 13 variations. You have the 2 counters, 3 models of those. And then you have the hybrid instruments series, so combining analog with digital. So plenty of choice there. Now just head directly to the Moonwatch Professional series, grab that one, and then while you're at it, simply grab the standard steel on steel with the Hesalite crystal. That is the one that you are looking for. No see-through case back, no sapphire crystal, just grab the Hesalite version. It is the Moonwatch, it is the one that goes to space, it's the one that will continue going to space with a bit of luck, so really that is the one you probably want in the first place. If you get another version, the chance is pretty real that afterwards you will regret and will think that you should have gotten the Hesalite version in the first place. So there you go. Nothing wrong with the Sapphire versions or any of the other models, I'm just giving it to you straight here, and that is that you probably are looking for the Hesalite version in the first place. Now that brings us to the next point, and that is, it is very easy to buy and sell an Omega Speedmaster, no matter which version. Now, depending of course on the rarity of it, but even a standard Moonwatch is very easy to sell to the next person waiting in line, and that is because these are in very high demand. It is in a way a very popular watch. And that actually brings me to my next point. There are a lot of Speedmasters in the wild. There are so many out there. I never noticed this until I actually bought mine, and then all of a sudden I saw them on wrists of people in restaurants, in meetings, at gatherings, and don't even mention going to watch gatherings, so with other watch enthusiasts, because you are bound to run into a pile of Speedmasters there. So nothing unique or special about your standard Moonwatch Professional when you are out and about in those circles. Now, the fact that there are so many out there and everywhere is not necessarily a bad thing, of course. It just shows to prove that it's a good watch, it's a popular watch, and it's, it deserves to be out there. But that is, for example, a common criticism also given to Rolex and the Rolex Submariner in particular. I'm not comparing these two watches, I'm merely pointing out that that is a criticism that the Rolex Submariner gets all the time, right? You see these on everybody's wrist, whether they're real or fake, I will leave that in the middle, but you see Rolex Submariners everywhere, and it is often used against the Submariner, and I would say that that is certainly a point of criticism you could also direct at the Omega Speedmaster Professional Moonwatch. Now that brings me to another point, and that is the limited editions that are released seemingly every other week. not to be taken literal of course, but Omega sure has a big appetite for releasing these special or limited edition Moonwatches, basically reminding you that your standard Moonwatch Professional is actually not very special at all, because here you go, you can buy another special or limited edition from them that is actually special or limited. It really feels that there are as many limited editions as there are stars in the galaxy. That is not quite right, but there are over 140 special or limited edition Moonwatches to date, and that number is only gonna go up. So if you are looking for a special Speedmaster or a particular Speedmaster, then maybe don't grab the one that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, but look at these special or limited editions instead. If you missed one in the past that you really wanted, you can buy them at a premium second hand of course, or on the vintage market, but rest assured Omega will be continuing to release these, because it is, well, for lack of a better word, it's very easy money for them. Now the next point then is to buy used or buy vintage. When I first got the Omega Speedmaster Professional, I was a bit afraid to buy these used, and certainly not interested to buy them vintage, because you never know what is wrong with them, and I just wanted a good proper watch, and at the time, little did I know, I wanted only that watch, and that would be my only watch. Now the reason that I'm mentioning this is that, as I mentioned already earlier in the video, there are plenty of these watches out there. There are also plenty of choices available, so it is actually very easy to buy a Speedmaster Moonwatch or to buy one of these Moonwatches gently used in very good condition, but then of course at a discount from what you would pay retail. Then slightly linked to that, but really a different market and a different ballgame, is really the vintage market. So if you are buying a Moonwatch Professional, chances are you will at some point get interested in the vintage ones anyway, so you might as well start with that instead of first taking a new standard one. Certainly the vintage Omega Moonwatch market is one that is very fun to explore. Keep in mind, however, that at least currently, as I'm recording this, the vintage prices are absolutely bonkers. So buy used, don't be afraid to buy used, I would say, but then also a vintage one, why not? Of course, if it's your only watch, then I would not recommend the vintage watch, because they do come with some limitations, mainly practical limitations then I mean. But if that is not something that scares you, then certainly look at the vintage ones. There are very nice models out there. You know, not all vintage models are necessarily as overpriced as a few models certainly are currently. So those are really the key points that I think I really wish somebody would have told me before I bought my Speedmaster. I might have done some things slightly different. You might think that based on this video that I think this is the most common useless watch ever. No, it's one of my favorite watches, but I do wish to point out some of the facts here to you in case you're looking to buy. Mainly, you know, what's the question with Sapphire Hesalite? If you make a mistake, don't stress too much about it. It's easy to fix. Then be aware of the avalanche of limited and special editions that Omega will be throwing at you, and then also perhaps think about buying used or vintage if that is your thing. Don't be afraid to explore that. It's actually a very fun thing to do as well. So there you go, that's it. If there is anything useful that you got out of this video, well, don't hesitate to click like. If you like this format as well, please don't hesitate to subscribe. It certainly does help. Talk to you next time. Bye.